to the transition pictures for Muhammad Ali. He died in 2016 of Parkinson's disease. Started boxing as Cassius Clay, which is his born name. He started boxing at 12 years old and went on to become a 3-time heavyweight boxing champion of the world. Even I, who know nothing, zero, about sports, know about the Thriller in Manila and the Rumble in the Jungle. In fact, I've met Joe Frazier. And I also have been in a boxing ring with Joe Frazier's son when I was in Philadelphia. And I think Joe Frazier's son just thought I was the wimpiest guy he'd ever met in his entire life. It's so obvious that a small child could take me down, let alone Joe Frazier's son. But I met Joe Frazier, and they were just the most massive celebrities in their day. I think 1 billion people tuned in to watch these boxing matches. Massive audience. In 1961, he became a Muslim, changed his name to Muhammad Ali in 64. I remember that happening too. And he had a massive career, which extended to writing his autobiography called The Greatest, and appeared as himself in the movie version of the book. Once he retired, which of course you have to eventually, I think he retired after he got Parkinson's maybe, but he went off and he did amazing ambassadorial work, philanthropic work, a lot of stuff that kept his reputation alive. And he stayed in the public eye almost to the day he died, actually. Life magazine named him as one of the top 100 most influential Americans of the 20th century. So, when I went into the energy, he was on strings like a marionette. The strings represented his support system, keeping him going. But after he'd hung there a while, he somehow loosened himself off the strings and fell to the floor of this metaphorical tunnel, cave thing I always see. He tried to get up and couldn't. He had no coordination. His consciousness was still locked into the Parkinson's, not realizing that he had no body now, that he was perfect. As he became more aware of his situation, it felt like 10,000 butterflies were dancing across him as his energy returned, as his life force returned, and he realized that he wasn't mortal anymore and therefore wasn't ill. And when this dawned on him, he stood up. And I'm not really aware usually of what people are wearing in these pictures. It's not relevant. They're not alive. But in his case, symbolically, he was wearing a very expensive suit, looking his best. The greatest had arrived. And he was trying to appear confident, even though he didn't feel it, even though he was confused by what was going on. He wanted to give the impression of being confident. So what's next? What do we do? And he walked off as if he were casually passing through an airport. We go over here? All right. We go up there? Okay. Cool, man. That'll be good. We'll do that. But before he can reach the light, the dome that I always see in these metaphorical pictures, before he could reach that, there was a strange wriggling passageway he was obliged to go down. It was covered with fly paper, maybe? Something sticky that you shouldn't touch, because if you do, you won't get off it the way a fly wouldn't. And as he brushed by the walls, his suit jacket, his sleeve, stuck to the wall. And he had to take it off because he couldn't get it off the wall. And then his expensive suit trousers, his fancy shoes, his shirt. And when he emerged at the end, he was just a guy. And I think that this is why I found these pictures moving, because there was something about him at an unconscious level that was striving to be validated. The drive that had led him to winning these fights, or even to fighting in the first place, was a desire to prove that he had value as a human being, to show what he was worth. And he did, 1,000 times over during his lifetime. But in the pictures, he came to the realization that he had value simply by being alive. He had worth. Didn't need to fight for it. Didn't need to struggle. Didn't need to have titles or belts or be called the greatest, as fantastic as that was. He was enough without trying. Just as we are enough. We don't need to struggle. We don't need to fight. We don't need to be someone. We're enough. He sat on the edge of the light and he appraised his environment. That was my life. Not only did he have a lifetime of high performance and achievement behind him, but he now had the realization on the inside that he was of value without his success. He knew what he was made of. Stardust. And when he was done appraising, he simply rolled backwards as if sliding down a chute. Fell into the light. And disappeared. And to me, the lesson in these pictures was about balance. Understanding who we are and what we are at our core, and using that as a springboard for what we do in life. Whether we're successful or not, whether we're rich or not, whether people know our names or not. But if we start from a position of knowing who we are and that we are of value, regardless of status and wealth and so on, we don't need more. And from that point, we can live our lives consciously, deliberately, purposefully, intuitively, compassionately, and with intention. And that was Muhammad Ali. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe, like, share, if you would, please. Follow me on Twitter if you want. That'd be good too. Otherwise, I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.